Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today we are completely deconstructing a stunning, highly sought-after glam look by Kashish from PK Makeup Studio. Honestly, this is the exact kind of masterclass level technique people usually pay serious money to learn, but we're breaking it all down for free right here. We're gonna see exactly how she builds that flawless glowing base and that super trendy eye look. So let's get into it. Okay, here is our roadmap. First, prep and prime essentials. Second, creating a flawless base. Third, sculpt, blush, and glow. Fourth, the trending eye makeup look. And finally, final touches and advice.
Part 1. Prep and Prime Essentials. Because a flawless finish absolutely always starts with a solid foundation of skincare. Right, let's walk through the actual skin prep. First up, you've got to thoroughly cleanse and tone the face, and then follow that up with a really good moisturizer to lock in all that hydration. Step 3 is practically non-negotiable for longevity, and that's primer. The creator uses a Makeup Studio primer here, noting that a pore-filling primer is an absolute must if you have textured skin. And finally, a targeted concealer.
Now this is where things get super interesting. When it comes to concealer, instinctively we all kind of want to grab a lighter shade to brighten up our dark circles, right? Well, scratch that. The Masterclass technique actually dictates choosing a shade 1 to 2 tones darker than your skin. Why? Because a slightly darker, high-quality concealer neutralizes those dark circles and pigmentation using just a super thin layer. You get maximum coverage, and there's absolutely no caking.
Part 2. Creating a flawless base. And we are about to bust a pretty major myth right here.
To nail that done but not done look, 2 shades of foundation are mixed together, OG Light 4 and Medium 5. But the real game changer is actually the tool. You've got to switch from flat brushes to a fluffy brush. A fluffy brush picks up just the right minimal amount of product and blends it beautifully as you apply, leaving you with an incredibly thin, natural layer. Piling on foundation does not make it look better. The right minimal quantity is what keeps it looking flawless and stops it from turning dull or gray.
This brings us to a really crucial point. People are constantly asking, what magic product can I mix in to make my base glow? Well, the truth is, there is no magic product. If your base looks incredibly glowing and shiny without you adding a ton of liquid illuminators, that's the direct result of proper skin prep, using the correct minimal quantity of foundation, and most importantly, your blending technique. Like the creator says, it's all on your practice and how you blend.
Moving on to part 3, sculpt, blush, and glow. This is where we really bring those facial features to life.
So, here's a super common beginner frustration. Why does contouring sometimes completely ruin a great base, leaving the face looking excessively dark or just straight up muddy?
Well, the answer really comes down to 2 things: shade limits and physical technique. First off, your contour stick should be a maximum of 3 to 4 tones darker than your skin. For placement, focus on the cheeks, the jawline, and the nose. But the real secret is the blending. When you're blending out your cheek contour with a fluffy brush, try slightly stretching your forehead. It tightens the skin and gives you a much smoother blend. Also, hold your brush a little further back on the handle so you get the perfect amount of pressure. Oh, and for the nose contour, always drop down to a much smaller brush so the brown pigment doesn't just spread all over the middle of your face.
Now let's talk about locking all this in. We applied a stunning liquid blush, specifically K-Beauty, for that natural airbrushed look. Now we all know to use a damp beauty blender for liquid foundation, right? But when it's time to set your face with a loose powder, like Huda Beauty, you need to switch to a dry beauty blender. This is vital. Using a wet sponge with loose powder is going to instantly create harsh patches and totally ruin that flawless liquid base underneath. Finish up the skin with a touch of Bobbi Brown highlighter for a glossy shine, and your base is literally bulletproof.
Part 4. The trending eye makeup look. And honestly, this is the fun part. This style looks incredibly complex, maybe even a little intimidating, but when we break it down, you're going to be surprised by how incredibly easy it actually is.
But before we even touch the eyeshadow, a quick pro tip on brows. If you're blessed with naturally thick eyebrows, do not overcomplicate things. You really don't need heavy pomades or pencils. A simple, clear brow gel brushed right through the hairs is more than enough to give them a polished look without making them appear heavily drawn on.
All right, let's walk through this timeline step by step. Since we didn't use a separate eye base today, just smooth out any residual foundation on the lids first. Step 1, apply a gel liner, but only to the outer corner of the eye. Step 2, immediately grab a small brush and smudge that liner out. Step 3, sweep a light brown eyeshadow all over the lid. Step 4, press a silver shimmer, specifically from a Huda Beauty palette here, directly onto the center of the eyelid. making sure to blend the edges so it doesn't look like a sticker. Step 5, pop a fun color into the inner corner. The creator uses pink, but you could totally use yellow or orange to match your outfit. And finally, step 6, the top eyeliner.
Now let's actually pause on that final eyeliner step for a second because there is a massive warning here. You must keep this top eyeliner exceptionally thin. If you draw a thick, heavy line across your lid, it's going to instantly make your eyes look heavy and small. A super thin, delicate line is the ultimate secret to making the eyes look beautifully elongated and snatched, which is exactly the modern glam aesthetic everyone is going for right now.
Part 5. Final touches and advice. It's time to bring this whole professional glam look together.
For the final eye touches, you'll want to pop on some false lashes, like the NYX O1s. But here is a absolutely crucial warning. Make sure you carefully combine your natural lashes with the falsies. Unblended false lashes can look terrible, especially in photographs. Finish it off with some MAC mascara and a rich black eyeshadow along the lower lash line. It's a straightforward step, but it really balances out that elongated top liner we just did without overwhelming the eye.
And for that gorgeous final lip color, well, that's a bit of a secret. You'll have to head over and check out PK Makeup Studio on Instagram for the big reveal. And hey, if you're wondering how to get your hands on the exact tools and products used today, from that K-Beauty blush to the Huda Beauty powders, you don't have to guess. The creator notes that you can contact Makeup Villa directly to source all these exact items.
And that brings us to the end. You've now got the entire professional roadmap, from the shade rules to the precise brush techniques. But remember the creator's biggest secret of all. There is no magic product that can ever replace a well-practiced blending technique. The knowledge is officially yours, but the question is, are you ready to put in the hours in front of the mirror to actually master it? Thanks so much for joining this explainer, and get to practicing.